afternoon, everyone. Live from Silicon Valley, California. This is Success Sadhana. My name is JM, and I welcome you all to a program today where we'll discuss conscious living amidst devastation. As you all know, Vaish, who conducts this program, is currently on a trip to India for 4 weeks. He should be back shortly, but he has encouraged us to continue to meet and keep the transcendental vibration going. So thank you all for joining today. We will review some of the past wisdom that Vaish has shared with respect to this topic and discuss how, given the sort of events going on currently in the world, how we can leverage some of his wisdom in our life to live a better life. So thank you, Jesse, Mayank, Rajesh, Tejas for joining. How are you all doing today? You can either unmute yourself or you can type it in the chat box. Thanks, Rajesh, for the thumbs up. Okay. So with that, let's get started. We'll start with a short breathing exercise so that we can center and become ready for the discussion, followed by we'll review some of the slides which Vaish had previously shared, and we'll open up for discussion after that. So let's just stand, sit a little straighter than you previously were, and please close your eyes and relax your shoulder, your hands, arms, your legs, and start taking deep breaths and then in and out. So be deep breath in, deep breath out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And as you're inhaling and exhaling, please focus your attention on your breath. In, out, in, out. Now, as you are taking deep breaths, please focus your attention on your feet and request it to relax. Please focus your attention on your legs and request it to relax. And you'll notice that when you say relax, the tension in the muscles reduce and they relax. Focus your attention on thighs, stomach, and request it to relax. Focus your attention on chest, arms, shoulders, and request it to relax. Focus your attention on your neck, your cheek, your forehead, and request you to relax. Focus your attention on your eyes, your eyebrows, your head, and request you to relax. Deep breath in, deep breath out. In, out. Now we'll chant few mantras of Om, the sound vibration. And as you chant the mantra Om, please keep everyone in the world in your prayers. Last few days and weeks have been very traumatic, and let's create some positive energy and pray that they all become peaceful and their stress is relieved. So we'll take a deep breath and chant Om mantra. You can repeat with me. Deep breath in. As you chant, focus your attention on the sound vibration, on your heart region, and feel the effect of vibration. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Please feel the vibration of the mantra resonating on your heart, your cheek, your forehead, and be thankful for this opportunity be able to breathe, to be able to meditate, and to pray for the well-being of others. Slowly rub your hands, open your eyes, and please come back to the Zoom room. So thanks everyone. How are you doing? Any thoughts that you have today? Any reflections that you came up with to this session today? You can unmute yourself or share your thoughts in the chat box.
I'm just really looking forward to today's lesson because I feel like I really need advice on how to remain peaceful and optimistic when I'm aware that there's so much suffering taking place.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks for sharing that. I've been, or rather, I don't know, whoever I've spoken to have been going through this as well. And it's very difficult to comprehend, very difficult to digest, very difficult to accept. So, so I'm thankful to Vaish that he has shared some of his thoughts, which I got the opportunity to just go through yesterday, today. So yes, even I'm looking forward to share some of his thoughts and learn from you all. How have you been doing and what have you been doing, so that together we can go through this. Thank you. Anything else? Anyone else? Any thoughts, reflections on the meditations or in general? No? So we'll go through some of the slides which Vaish had previously shared, and then we'll open it up for discussions. So let me share my screen and let me know if you're able to see the screen. So unbearable suffering. As you all know, the world right now is going through a lot of trauma. Lots of people are getting affected. Many innocent lives are being lost. Women, children, several civilians, and every day there is anxiety. Why did it start? When is it going to end? What's happening right now? Are people safe? So, and it's as Tori rightly said, it's traumatic. It's very difficult to comprehend. Why is this happening? This doesn't look reasonable from any way you look at it. It doesn't look right. It shouldn't be happening, but it is happening, and it's like it looks like nobody can control it. Nobody can do anything about it. We all are feeling helpless. So why is this happening, and what can we do is what we'll discuss today. So the first point, as Vaish has previously shared, is to adjust our understanding, because if we have the right lens and the right perspective, then we are able to understand why things are happening the way it's happening. And once we have that right understanding, then we will be able to take some actions to deal with it. So as Vaish said, there are three categories of energies which exist. One is the internal energy, which is our original supreme conscious source, which is all pervading, who's all pervading, and who has created the supreme world, spiritual world, as well as the material world, and under whose direction everything is happening. So he's the original conscious source, and he's almighty, he's all powerful. And second is a category of energy is external energy. So in addition to creating the spiritual world to fulfill the desires of conscious beings, he's also created material world using his external energy, which are world of inert matter, which consists of 5 categories of energies: in earth, water, air, fire, ether. In addition to these 5 elements, we also have mind, intelligence, and ego. So collectively, they all have been created by using the external energy of the original conscious source. And finally, the marginal energy, the category of marginal energy, which is we all individual conscious entities. We all are spiritual beings, and we are called marginal because we can either be connected with this original conscious source, the spiritual energy, or we can be connected and work under the direction of external energy. So we have a choice. As Vaish says, that it's like the seashore. Sometimes we can be wet, sometimes we can be dry. So it's that border which we operate, where we have the choice to turn either towards spiritual energy or towards external energy. So these are the 3 categories of energies which is operating the entire universe. Now within that, Bhagavad Gita 8.15 states that this metal world is temporary and full of miseries. It's called as Dukhalayam Asaswatam. Means the purpose of this metal world has been if you look at everything which exists, like whether any facility like house, car, or any living beings, bodies, everything is temporary. We all know they all have a start and they all have an end. There is no escaping from it. It doesn't matter. Like some live the short time, like for example, maybe a dog lives for a few years, but humans live for hundreds of years. But all of them do have a start and stop, and they all are temporary. They all are constantly breaking down. Like as I speak right now, there are many cells in my body who are dying as I'm speaking, and there are many cells which are getting created. But I'm constantly time is breaking each and every atom in this world. So everything is temporary. They all have a start and end, whether we like it or not. Everything will end, and it is full of miseries. I'll come to why it is full of miseries in the next few slides. But we have, like, if you think when we started this success sadhana a couple of years ago, one of the driver was the pandemic hit all of us, and we said from now on you cannot go out of your home. Like it's like we're suddenly stuck. We are at home, so we still wanted to continue the spiritual discussion. So we started success sadhana, and at that time, it looked like maybe this will be one of the peaks of miseries, because we are all so forced. We are under constant fear whenever we speak to our relatives. Some we hear news of somebody getting COVID, and then we are stressed constantly. Will they be alive or not? We hear from our friends, and on a daily basis we see so many people getting affected helplessly. There is no cure, and people are dying. So it was under constant anxiety, and like what misery can be greater than this is what we thought at the time. But if you think, that was not the first misery the world has encountered. Like there have been many more miserable tragic things have happened in the past, and obviously pandemic was not the last misery world has encountered. As like right now looks like maybe we are coming out of pandemic, things are going to become normal again. We can look forward to resuming our normal lives. And right at this time, we have this new wave of tragedy which is affecting all of us in the world, which is going on. So the world is temporary. Everything has a start and end, and it is full of miseries. Again, the primary purpose of misery is for refinement. Either you can look at it as misery, or you can look at it that it will help us to become better. Like if you have, as Vaish says, if you break a bone, it will become 8 times stronger next time when it comes back. So it's just perspective how you look at it. So So in this world, no matter what, there will be constant upheavals going on continuously, which we won't be able to avoid. That's because that's the purpose with which it was created. So that's primarily within the realm of material energy. So this then shakes our faith in Supreme. Like, why is this happening? Or maybe sometimes even you may lose your faith in Supreme. Like, if you are so benevolent, if you the Supreme is always good in terms of helping us out and becoming better, why is this all happening? And we find it difficult to digest. But if you look at Bhagavad Gita 2.24, it states that the marginal energy or the individual conscious being, this individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned or dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. So the category of metal energy is, of course, continuously breaking and getting recreated, but this individual conscious being, the living entity, it's never affected. It remains eternally the same. So that distinction has to be understood. This doesn't matter what is going on in the world. There are two categories of energy, and they have different impact based on irrespective of what's going on in the world. And the living entities, the marginal energy, have been given free will. So why the free will has been given? So that it can choose whether to operate in a spiritual plane or in a material plane, whether to act in spiritual consciousness or material consciousness. So living entities themselves, if you look at the purpose, the living entities have been created to love the Supreme and all its fragments, which is all of us. That's the purpose of living entities, and give our existences so that we can love and we can be loved. And given that's our existence, love cannot exist without free will. Like if you have if somebody holds a gun to your forehead and asks you to do something and you do that, it's not out of love, it's out of fear or force. But at the same time, if free will is given, where we can do what you want, that's when you can exchange love, where you consciously chose to act, to serve, to make other person happy. And that's when you get that choice. So free will allows us to fulfill our purpose, which is to love Supreme as well as love all its fragrance, all the living entities of Supreme. And given we have free will, we can choose to love others. The same free will allows us to reject love as well, because it's free will, where both the choices are available to you. Either you can choose to love others, or you can allow others to love you. But at the same time, you can reject love as well. And this is what is one of the source this is the source of all the actions we do and the result that we get. Now, all the actions that we do in this world, though we have free will, it is bound by a law of nature, which is called karma. And that is not subjected to interpretation. It's not a law which two lawyers can argue different ways. It's not a law of nature. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, law of nature will take the necessary, you'll get necessary reaction to your action. For example, we have gravity. Whether we believe it or not, or whether we write hundreds of pages of books, maybe saying gravity doesn't exist, we are under its influence. And if we say jump up, we will be pulled down. Likewise, the law of nature, the karma, whatever action you take, it will have necessary reaction. And law of nature cannot be escaped. For example, like you have state law, and maybe you killed 100 people, 100%. Then state law can, once you are caught, the state law might declare you guilty, and they might maybe they might hang you or kill you because you've been you have killed 100 people. But they can only kill you one time. They cannot kill you 100 times. But law of nature is not like that. If you have killed 100 people, then you may be killed 100 times or 1,000 times, a million times, depending on what the Supreme's law of nature decides. So even though you can escape law of nature, like sometimes you may do something which is against the law and nobody sees it, nobody notices it, and you may escape. But law of nature, law karma, you can never escape, because everything is recorded, and you do pay back for that. And the marginal living entities, we are under the influence of three modes of material nature: mode of goodness or sattva, where mind is expanded, there is light, and we act in goodness. Rajas, where mind is slightly contracted, and we are always in constant effort to do more. We are always anxious. And tamas, where mind is completely contracted, we just don't want to do anything, or we take wrong actions. So out of the 8.4 million species that exist in the world, humans are born with budding consciousness. Like if you look at trees or other lower species, they are with covered consciousness, where they can only do, even though they are all living entities, they're all conscious beings, they can only perform very limited actions. In case of animals, they are contracted consciousness. They are forced by modes of material nature. They don't discriminate. They are forced to act in a way that body forces them to act. Whereas humans have budding consciousness, that is, we have intelligence which gives us the discrimination ability to do the right thing or the wrong thing using our free will. And if we choose to do the right thing, the budding consciousness blossoms, and we become elevated, and we are able to live in a more spiritual way of life, aligned with Supreme. So if we allow our free will to be guided by Supreme based on his wisdom, then we will live in harmony, we will live in peace, we will live in goodness. Whereas if we reject his guidance, we don't take his guidance, then we will be attached with metal energy, then we'll act in metal plane, and that's when we will be taking actions which are incorrect and cause miseries. So those are some of the initial thoughts around the three energies which guide the world, control the world, and how they come together to have the world operate. Any questions or thoughts so far in whatever you heard, or any reflections? Yeah, go ahead, Tori.
Thank you. I don't know if this question might be too much for this session. Please tell me if it is. So with all of the things going on in Ukraine, I've been seeing like a lot of different walks of faith coming together to do their part. Like on the reservation, they're doing ceremonial dancing to try and like bring about peace. And I have friends who are hosting their own versions of prayer groups. And one of them was explaining the purpose of it was to manipulate the karma, that potentially like the group karma of Ukraine. And I'm not an expert in karma, so I was wondering whether or not that is an aspect, how you said we can't escape karma, but when enough people come together to try and bring about peace towards a situation, does that have an impact on the karma of other people?
So yeah, that's a good point, Tori. Thanks for bringing it up. And there are a couple of next slides which do touch upon the types of karma and how it affects. And yes, prayers have power when prayers are said out with love, calling out to Supreme, then he definitely responds to it. And yes, you cannot escape karma. Whatever you have accumulated, you'll have to definitely pay back. But Supreme is very independent. He can always override any mathematical calculation we may have. So if he chooses to chooses to do so, he might actually override your past bad karma. He can remove that and let you live without those karmic reactions. So that's definitely possible. But thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you. So it's like through our prayer, we're setting an intention, but it's up to the Supreme what he does with how he answers that calling, and we just trust that he has a plan.
Yes,
okay.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
Thanks. Any other questions or comments? Anything that you heard which you liked? No? So we'll continue with the remaining thoughts which Vaish had said. So as I mentioned, karma itself, there are 3 types of karma. Karma, vikarma, and akarma. So karmas are activities which are performed according to one's duty, aligned with laws of nature. Vikarma are actions which are performed against the laws of nature or sinful activities. And akarma are transcendental activities or devotional service, which is aligned with what Supreme wants. So just to take an example, like Prabhupada and Vaish have given this example in the past, like if you're driving in the highway and you follow rules of driving, like you are, like if you're in North America, you're driving on the right side, or if you're in Asia, you're driving on the left side, you're stopping for at stoplight, etc. So if you follow the laws, then you will reach your destination and you won't be penalized. But if you don't follow the law, instead of North America, instead of driving on the right, you start driving on the left, going opposite to the traffic, which is very dangerous. Then, or maybe if you don't stop at stoplight, potentially risking other people's lives, then it will have reaction. So of course you'll be caught and likely ticketed and even jailed, depending on what kind of law you have ruled, you have broken. So that is vikarma, where you're penalized for going against the law of nature. Whereas karma is, if you follow the law of nature, then you can continue with your journey and reach the destination which you seek. Akarma is beyond these two, where if you're aligned with Supreme, then the karma and its action and reaction doesn't apply. As an example, let's say if you are a fire, if you, let's say you work for ambulance, or you work in a fire station, and suddenly you get a distress call, you take your ambulance out or you take your fire truck out, and you are trying to go for the destination. So at that time, or like everyone else knowing that you are under the instructions of government, you are trying to reach a destination where there is a danger, they will give you path to pass them, as well as you may not stop at stoplight, etc., and you won't be penalized for that, because you've been given the instruction and the authority to serve to remedy the danger, so because you're doing service. So even though ambulance or fire truck breaks the law, they are not penalized because they are they are under the direction of the respective authority. So like that, any action which are performed, which is as aligned with what Supreme has asked, then you don't incur any karma or its reactions. Same is another example which Vaish gives is like, say you are a soldier and you're fighting for a country. Then to protect the country and its people, if you kill the enemy soldier, you're not penalized. In fact, you might be rewarded because you protected the country. At the same time, if you're not in act of duty, you're just, you've just gone your home and get into a fight with your neighbor or somebody, and in that anger, you kill somebody, the same soldier is held accountable and maybe tried in a court of law for his action. So depending on the same action, but depending on whether it's authorized or not, you might be held accountable or it might not apply to you. So those are the three types of karmas and some of the examples given by Vaish and other leaders, spiritual teachers in the past. I did see there is some, yeah, Mark, go ahead, Mark, please share your reflection or questions.
Yeah, it's more of a question, which is, how does our karma kind of interact with other people's karma? And the example I'm thinking about is, I recently had a break-in at my property, and somebody stole a lot of my things, and so I'm kind of hurting from that or suffering from that. Can this be viewed as, well, this guy committed a crime, so these people, they're incurring a debt, but maybe what's my side of that? Am I getting this punishment because of something that maybe I deserved this by some previous things that I've done wrong? Can you talk about how those might interact with each other?
Thanks, Mark. It's a very typical question on karma. Why? What happened to me? The wrong thing happened to me. Is it because is somebody else incurring a new karmic reaction, which in some future life they will have to pay back, or is it your past karma which you are now paying back? So only Supreme knows the answer, but it could be either. For sure, at least one of those two at minimum, which is either you had a debt to pay and you have paid off your debt, which means your account is now balanced. So you can take peace with that. I had something to give to somebody else and it's taken. Or if somebody else has taken, then they are incurring, so they have to pay back. The law of karma, like you can be very assured that the law of karma is not going to leave it. They will have to settle the account. So you may feel helpless. Why this happened to me? Like, how can they just go away without any reaction? Trust Supreme. They will get reaction. They cannot escape. They may feel at this point like they are very smart, intelligent. They could, come take away without any effort, but they will pay back. I do have another slide actually later where I'll touch upon this with another example, but the point is same. Either way, the reaction will happen and the account will be settled. I don't know if I answered the question or not, but your thought process is right.
Mostly there's one kind of nuance which I'm still wrestling with, which is there some obligation for me to now pursue justice? And of course I filed a police report, but there's more ways I can escalate this to put pressure on the police to do more investigation or hire a private investigator to take other routes to track these guys down. When does my obligation to kind of close the loop on this karma, so to speak, or at some point do I just say it's in the hands of the Supreme and I just back away, right? Am I part of the process? Am I called into this to seek the proper outcome here? How would I know that?
Yeah, that's a good question, Mark. So definitely we do need to do our duty. My wife, I think 3-4 years ago, we had an incident which was similar in nature, where his his wallet was, his purse was stolen, and she had everything in her purse. Of course, there are bank cards, credit cards, but unfortunately, for some reason, she needed the Social Security SSN card as well, which was also there. And that was such a traumatic experience. Like we had several thousands of dollars in a bank, and we are getting messages that this will be wired out, as an example. And it was a lot. We were trying to save it for our house down payment. So you can imagine it was not 1,000, 2,000, it was several $1,000s that we had. And like any moment we are trying to like keep calling all the banks, trying to stop, and he's finding different ways of still reaching, because once you have that information, you can pretty much reach. And like every day morning when we wake up, the first thing we'll do is like, what has he done today? Like, did we lose it? Like we are trying to cut off all the access. He's taking that credit card and spending, going to all the stores and spending whatnot and things like that. It was very traumatic experience. It was our hard-earned money, and just somebody just taking, and several thousands of, like, it's gone. And it was we didn't lose significantly, but of course there was some loss, but it was not significant. But more importantly, it was daily trauma, where of course we filed the police report. We kept calling, trying to follow up, because it didn't feel right. Like, how can he do this? Like, how can we leave him without he getting justice for his actions? So we kept trying, and we went to all the sources, trying to see what we can do. And eventually, I think whatever we were told, we had done everything because we wanted to. And as time progressed, we saw that everything is secure. Nothing more can happen in terms of anything bad. All our finances were secured, and all the credit reports were frozen. Anything, they now need to call us as an example. And as the time passed by, slowly, that emotion started pacifying. And now, after 4 years, we hardly feel that. So when you're in the moment, it's very hard. Like, I don't think we will be able to exactly come to the same emotion. We were 2 years ago when pandemic started. It was frightening. It was fearful. Like when you have to get your vegetables from shop, you are afraid. What if your family member goes try to buy vegetable and gets affected by corona? What will happen? Like when you get things in, you clean those. Like there was so many fear going on. But after 2 years, we are wiser, and things have calmed down. So at this point, of course, you should do your duty, like file police report or whatever is required, because we have to do your duty. At the same time, the result may not be what we want, but it will always be what Supreme wants. It will never be anything different, because it will be exactly as he wants it. So as Vaish always says, do your duty, but methodically, but dispassionately. So be systematic, of course, go about doing it, but don't be attached to it. Be dispassionate, I think, is what Vaish always says. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have T and Tori again. Please go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
Always had a hard time with people saying when something bad happens, it's your karma. It merges over to victim blaming, and like I've heard people say an infant that was killed in crossfire, that was that infant's karma, because you don't know what that baby did in a past life. And I thought, whoa, I think we're taking this karma teaching to a wrong extreme, because I believe that karma is meant to help you grow spiritually, help you learn these lessons. That infant hasn't had a chance yet to do this. I think sometimes because of the free will teachings, we're just caught in the middle of something or part of our what people call, I guess, karma. Our meeting with the Great Spirit before we're born says, I want to help. So sometimes helping means, yeah, you're caught in the crossfire, because it's going to help teach whoever. It's going to cause them to reach them. Somebody breaking in your house, stealing your wife's purse, most of the time, no, it doesn't reach them. But it is their free will, their moment with spirit, their choice. Am I going to go left or go right? And so it's on them, and then how you handle it, is on you. But I think spirit wants what's best for us. You can only go as far as you can go. If it's draining you, if it's upsetting you, like you said, don't be attached to the outcome. Just do what you can, and that's where I believe with that. I think I'm on truth with that. I hope I am. If not, I'm hoping you will correct me or enlighten me. And the other thing I think about is there a story that you guys have that would teach about, it is good to know about karma. It is good to pause and think about right and wrong, to people. I think, don't do this or my karma, that fear, but at the same time, where's your heart? Where is your mind? Is it in that same good place? So on the outside, maybe you're making these right choices, but on the inside, maybe you're holding the door for all the ladies and behaving, but meanwhile, you're being a pig checking her out, right? And so really, and then you're false portraying. So I think it's important that people, is there a story that helps get that lesson across, that it's important to practice your karma in all these good places, that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks, Tori. Thanks for bringing those two important points. And yeah, you are right. Karma doesn't justify the choice which was made. Like it doesn't make a wrong or right. It just explains what is happening. It doesn't make it wrong or right. So yes, that baby definitely, like we can only explain based on this. If you try to explain any other way, it was potentially not explainable, because why should it happen? But another thing, as my wife or even Mark brought up, it's important to distinguish between the mental energy and the spiritual energy as well. So for example, if like, even though, let's say we did lose some money, we have earned back. It's not same as Vaish always says, there is difference between life and life situation. So it's important to always keep in mind that we are living conscious entities, we are life, and that is not affected. That continues, that's eternal, that will remain eternal. And it's only the life situation or the metal facilities that we have, all the including our body, that is all constantly changing, and it has a start and it has a stop. So that's I don't know if I answered the question, but that's how to understand it. And with respect to story, I do have a few slides where I'll talk about how to maybe understand and take actions on these as well. So I'll answer that in next few slides. Tori has her hand up also. You want to go ahead, Tori?
Yeah, thank you. T, you brought up something that I was wondering as well, in regards to karma. Like, we have people who behave in one way, but maybe their thoughts and their intentions aren't pure. Someone who does kind things for someone, but with the intent to manipulate them. So I really like that. My question is in regards to one of the points you brought up, allowing the Supreme to guide our free will. And I'm wondering, what are the ways in which we can ensure that we're doing that? Like, how do we know what our duty is? I was thinking a lot about the last meeting T, brought up that, with the software engineer, how he's doing his duty to support his country. And in the past, I've been very outspoken for things that I believe not to be right, like injustices and things. I was very big in like protesting and raising awareness. But lately I've been like struggling with, like, is that my free will or is that my duty? How do I know which way, the Supreme wants me to act? Does he want me to defend and be loud and use my voice and meet the aggressor with aggression? Or is it my duty to swallow my pride and remain silent and pray?
it's kind of confusing sometimes, because if I pray, I feel like I'm not doing my part, and if I do my part, I feel like maybe I'm instigating a situation. So
Thank you. Such a wonderful question. Thank you, Tori, for asking that. And this, I think, was asked in the past. And Vaish, what he said was, that's where you follow the 3 guides that are available to you: Sadhu, Sangha, and Shastra. So if you have intention to do the right thing, if you sincerely desire, I want to know what is, because look at Arjuna, he was in the battlefield. Like, I don't think there would be maybe there are, but it was pretty grave situation for him, very difficult decision. Should I kill my family, or should I just go away in forest, and what is the right thing to do? I'll be killing millions of them. And it's such a grave situation. If I do my duty by killing them, or they are just my family, why I'm fighting this for? What, this country, this metal which I'll be losing them anyway when I die. So it's when you have that desire, when you sincerely ask for it, then it's a miracle that actually you get people in your life who guide you. Like, there is a story of Dhruv Maharaj or Prahlad Maharaj, where when they wanted it, then they met their teachers who guided them what is the right thing to do. So it's always starts with association, where if you are seeking knowledge, you will come in contact with people who will connect you with a group of who will associate with other like-minded people, where you can ask these questions and those questions will be answered. And second is Shastra, which is wisdom literature. These are not new questions. They have been asked through ages, and they've been answered through ages. And we have got many different examples of what is the right thing to do. And lastly, teacher, where there are various spiritual teachers out there who can guide. So when any of such thing happens, definitely refer back to wisdom literature. Seek out others who might of spiritually inclined, who might guide you, and ask the questions to the spiritual teacher, and they will answer it. Even many times, not many, always, even I'm in the same situation, and luckily I always had others who guided me as well. But thank you for bringing up this wonderful question. We have got 5 more minutes. I'll quickly cover some of the remaining slides and then see if we can cover them. So the reason we fight here in this metal world is because the marginal energy wants to be the controller. I have 1 house, but then I want 2 houses, I want 10 houses, I want this whole city, whole countries, the whole world. And if I get all the entire world, then I want other planets. Like, it will never end. I want more and more and more. I want to control everything. Everything should happen as per my wish. I want to enjoy everything. So that is one mentality which is acting under the influence of material energy. That's what causes a lot of misery we see, versus an attitude of service, where how can I how can I look for opportunities to help others? That is what is more liberating. So as you sow, so shall you reap. So here the example given is, let's say you have malaria. Then it's, you can't walk, you feel chills, you feel like you're almost going to die. It's very painful. So you're suffering, but you may not know like which mosquito bit you. But you do know some mosquito bit you because of which you're suffering. And at that time, what you can do is have that understanding, and then take the medicine. So like you take chloroquine or some medicine, and then in future, maybe protect yourself, like maybe put your mosquito net around in the evening, or maybe walk outside with full sleeves. So those are the only 2 actions you can do, which is take medicine so that your suffering is removed, and then in future protect yourself so that you don't go down. So similarly, as we go through any suffering, always look for these 2 actions we can take. But guaranteed, if you have malaria, there was some mosquito which bit you. There is no other way you will get it. Similarly, if you are suffering right now, there is some karma in the past which you did because of your suffering. So that's one thing to always note. So what can we do? Some of the suggestion which Vaish has given in the past. Be aware of your sphere of influence versus sphere of concern. What you can influence is very limited. What your circle of concern, if it becomes very bigger than that, you'll always be in anxiety because you're not the controller. You'll always be in anxiety. So bring your concerns down to the circle you can influence, and don't go beyond that's real. Second is avoid constant engagement with breaking news. Of course, you want to be aware of what's going on. You want to maybe pray for others' well-being and so that they can be stress-free. But there is, it's a vicious cycle where you're constantly having the questions and you're constantly seeking out for it. That is not very healthy. There is a good video which Vaish has. You can watch it on his Facebook page. Stop watching breaking news. One other thing to do is, as Vaish always says, make sure you have your internal you do your daily practice of sadhana, and internally you bring up, you have internal potency before you reach out, go out and face these negative energy. Like you should be internally revitalized. So make sure your daily practices are done before you reach out. And second, don't be constantly looking at it. If there is an important news, it will always find a way to reach you. This, I'm just going to go to the next slide. Next is develop daily spiritual practice. This is another active ingredient of life. It talks about certain practices you can build so that you can internally fortify yourself so that you can withstand all this onslaught of negative energy which is going on. And without that, you will not, you will feel miserable. Sorry. And pray for peace. Prayers have powers. Please, I've seen myself personally many times when I've been feeling helpless. It's not possible. And I've sincerely requested. I've seen help coming. I really can't explain, but I've experienced. So I definitely believe in that. Prayers do have powers. I'm just skipping through quickly. And seek opportunities to serve. So even right now, prayer itself is a good service. If you can sincerely pray, it will help them. If you know some people who have been affected directly or indirectly, you can talk to them, you can hear them so that they feel better. If you find opportunities maybe to donate or some other way to help, please do reach out. That's other way to help out in such a situation. Always seek service. It will fulfill you, as well as the love that you share with them will also nurture the others. And lastly, a story of a ring which Vaish had shared, I think 2 years ago, and I'm sure most of you know the story. Because we are almost over time, I'll quickly skim through that. There was a very powerful king. He had a very intelligent chief minister, and he wanted to teach him a lesson. He thought maybe he should become more humble. So I should give him a task which will teach him that he should become humble. He doesn't seem humble. So what he said to the chief minister was, they have a national day after 6 months. So within next 6 months, go and get me, there is a ring, I know, it's an old golden ring, which if somebody sees, if he's happy, then he becomes sad. But if he's sad, he becomes happy. So go and find that ring for me. So the chief minister, he really wanted to please his king. He said, yeah, let me go and find it and give it to the king so that he becomes proud of me. So he reached out, he went to the entire country. He went so many cities, so many shops, so many houses, asking, do you know such ring? Where can I buy? Where can I find? And he was not able to find that ring. And the national day was coming close. In fact, it was just 1 day before the national day. He couldn't find that ring. And so on the day of the national day morning, he was just coming back to his to the city palace. On his way, he saw there was an old shop. A man was just opening his shop. He was putting all his things in front, and it was a jewelry shop. So I thought maybe let me just ask him. He went and asked that person, do you know of any such ring which will, if a person sees who is sad, they'll become happy, and those who is happy, they'll become sad. He said, yes, I do have that ring. He was delighted. Can you please tell me how much I should pay? I just wait a few minutes. I took an old ring. He engraved something on the ring and gave it to the chief minister. He looked at it. How come this ring will make the person sad, happy? He looked at it and he became happy looking at the ring. So he immediately gave the money to the shopkeeper, and I ran towards the palace. And King knew, it's the last day, and he knew that chief minister will be back, and he was expecting, he'll say, I'm humbled, I'm sorry I couldn't do it, and things like that. He was expecting those things. And chief minister came running. He was delighted. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Kind of. So king said, so you found that ring? He said, yeah, I found that ring. Show me. So he gave the ring to the king. King saw the ring and he became sad. So then chief minister said, I went to the shop, and the shop person engraved this, give it to me. What he wrote was, this too shall pass. So as soon as the chief minister saw that first time, his sadness went away, because his sadness will also pass. And that's why he became happy. And when the king saw that ring, he realized that he is king, he's all powerful now, but he will not remain all powerful forever. That is also going to go away. So that's when he becomes sad. So whenever we are going through the situation, Vaishya always encourages us to keep in mind that this too shall pass, and stay equipoised so that we can face the situation. So sorry, we are a few minutes late, but thank you everyone for joining today. I'm eagerly looking forward so that Vaishya can be back, and we can learn more from him. But thank you for joining today, and I hope you all have a very great weekend. As Vaish always encourages, let's say Hari Bol, and let's sign off today. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you so much.